Hello and welcome to Founders Amplified, where we spotlight underrepresented founders who are driving innovation and impact across various industries and sectors across the globe. I'm your host, Narayan Kulkarni, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Today's guest is Paul Tamale. Paul Tamale is the founder and CEO of Ubuntu Agrobiotics, a pioneering company driving innovations in sustainable agriculture. He holds a bachelor's degree in agricultural land use and management, an MSc in climate change, and is currently pursuing a second MSc in soil science. With over 7 years of hands-on agricultural experience, Paul has built his career around advancing solutions that restore soils, improve farmer resilience, and promote regenerative agriculture. His passion for transforming farm systems led to the creation of Ubuntu Agrobiotics, a company now recognized on both regional and global stages. Under his leadership, the firm won the World Bank Innovation Award 2025, was named Biotech Company of the Year 2025 by the Africa Excellence Awards led by MEA Markets, and the company's novel product was listed on the World Alliance for Efficient Solutions Explorer led by Solar Impulse Foundation. Paul's work continues to bridge science, innovation, and farmer-centered solutions, making him a strong voice in the movement for sustainable and regenerative agriculture. So, now that you know a little bit about Paul, let's dive in to the conversation. Welcome to Founders Amplified, Paul. It's great to have you with us. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ariane. I'm really fine. Hope you're good from your side.
I'm also doing great. Thanks for asking. And again, thanks for being here. Now, to kick things off, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your journey. So, could you please tell me what led you to become a founder, and if there were any particular moments or experiences that sparked that decision?
Yeah, Naren, there is quite a number of things that contributed to my becoming a founder, really. And one that is actually from the background, I could say I am from an agricultural background. I grew up farming with my parents, and so I interacted with agricultural systems. I interacted with the problems that farmers are really facing. I interacted with how they are trying to solve these problems. I saw how things can fail when they are trying to solve the problems that they were facing at the time. I saw the impacts that come out from the failure to cover the problems they were facing. So one thing that later came up, of course, is pursuing agriculture sciences, soil science, and climate science in the academic institutions. Now, this gave me an interaction with the scientific approaches on how these problems can be covered. Yeah, so that opened my mind to see now to interact and see a mix of the problem and the potential solution that science is trying to provide. Then finally, one major thing that now gave me the final drive was a friend of mine called Dr. Fabio Huda, who is also a co-founder at Ubuntu Agrobiotics, but a founder and CEO for Everdrop. Now, this guy, I was touched by his heart for humanity. He he's not just doing business for money, actually, but he's doing it because of the heart for human beings, what human beings are going through. So when I saw that in him, when I got to know about him, and I saw such kind of mind in him, it gave me enough energy to push what I'm pushing. So his energy, coupled with mine, but of course with another colleague of ours, led to the formation of Ubuntu Agrobiotics.
Wow, it's amazing to hear how your personal experiences in agriculture, your academic experiences, and also meeting amazing people kind of converged into creating Ubuntu Agrobiotics. I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that. Could you tell me more about how your identities, a little bit more about how your experiences in agriculture and your training give you a unique edge or perspective that allows your work at Ubuntu Agrobiotics to be very unique in this space.
Yeah, of course, it's okay. Let me dive deep into that. The and about the uniqueness now is more about like my personality, having a very good interaction and experience in the agricultural background. But most importantly, what I say is my experience, my academic foundation in soil science. I've studied soil science at the master's level. I've studied climate change at the master's level. I've also studied some kind of sociology to understand the ways of life of communities. So this gives me really a uniqueness. I really understand what I'm personally doing. And the other thing that really stands out, on addition to the academic experience and all that, is, like I said earlier, the heart I have for the smallholder farmers. As Ubuntu Agrobiotics, we are not doing business because we need to make money. Of course, that is part of any business, but we are doing more than that. We are more touched by what the farmers are facing. We are more touched by the pain points these farmers are having. We are touched by the pain they are facing when they try to solve a problem that is not living, solving a problem that is not likely to end, putting in a lot of resources into a problem that is not living. And this has caused these farmers go extra mile of using alternative solutions, engaging in punching and punching in more resources to the soil. And guess what? The yields are not there. The problem might seem to be one, but it's an integrated system. There are so many problems that many people cannot know, that some of us who are down there to the level of the farmers really understand. So that is our heart at Ubuntu Agrobiotics, and that's the uniqueness. We are beyond making a profit, but more to solving the farmers' problems. So that is why we made our solutions as low cost as possible, so that they are affordable, but also not to constrain or to interfere with the sustainability of our company.
I see. I appreciate hearing that your academic level of experience, as well as your the heart that you bring, um, translates into the way that you do business, as well as, for example, things like the cost in your business model. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the uniqueness of Ubuntu Agrobiotics and the way that it's doing innovative work. So, as you know, there are many different agricultural solutions and companies in Africa, the world, everywhere. But what is Ubuntu Agrobiotics doing in its products, in its way of doing business that might make people rethink agriculture and the way that it's interacting with and helping smallholder farmers or the agricultural system more generally?
Yes, thank you so much for that. Yeah, and as I always say, uh, we are living into a time where farmers are told, for you to get good yields, you need to punch in inputs, keep punching in, keep punching in. It's like the more you punch in, the more you get. It's more of a betting, sorry to say. Put in more, get more. But they are forgetting about the systems back in the days where not many inputs were needed to have better yields. They are forgetting about the forest systems where no fertilizers applied, but the soils are, the forests are surviving and they are thriving. And if you find a fruit in the forest, it will be yielding without any artificial solution provided. So they are the system is entirely relying on the natural system within that ecosystem. So one thing I should say, we have received a number of feedback. Most farmers saying too good to be true. The solution is way cheap. I never expected it to yield this much. They are used to a system where a yielding solution has to be very expensive. So this creates a lot of feedbacks like too good to be true. I never expected microorganisms alone to create this kind of impact. If you're claiming to be cheap, most likely your solution is not of a high quality. But guess what? From the feedback we received from over 200 smallholder farmers in a space of 1 year in operation is very amazing feedback. So this gives us another form of uniqueness that we are not providing the usual solution that are on market. We are not mixing concoctions of chemicals, but we are providing pure microbial solutions that are helping farmers get that soils of long ago that could sustain their crop production without needing to punch and punch in microorganisms. In other words, we are bringing back a regenerative kind of approach where the soils can be able to regenerate their soil quality without needing artificial solutions.
I see. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate hearing your perspectives and also say a different approach to agriculture, which sounds like it informs what you're doing. So, and just for our audience's benefit, because and I also know that you have been doing a lot of work. You've been both on the technical side of your product as well as in marketing it. Can you tell us currently, geographically, where your like the farmers are that are using your product? Just a few examples, and also if that might affect how they might receive or interpret your product. So whether that's culturally or maybe there's differences in soil quality, if that matters at all.
Yes, thank you so much. Now that's actually more into the sociological aspects of our farmers. The farmers I'm talking about, what the farmers we are innovating for are smallholder farmers. Now, a typical smallholder farmer, according to the a researcher's definition, is those farmers in Uganda who are earning about $1 per day. That's about 300 US dollars annually. And most of the smallholder farmers, honestly speaking, and these are making up 80% of the total farming communities in Uganda, working below the poverty line. So in the most climate stricken areas in Uganda, including the northern part of Uganda, where climate really hits hard, these are the kind of farmers we are innovating for. So these are living below the poverty line. That is one. But besides living below the poverty line, they cannot make enough food from their agricultural land. So about their habit and culture, they live a low lifestyle. So their main goals is to have food on the plate, take a few of their children to schools, which are actually not expensive schools, but of course have a good lifestyle. And their definition of good lifestyle is actually not as you not driving a car, not having a fancy house. No, they just need shelter. They just need a plate of food. Maybe those who booze a little bit, have an evening with colleagues. That's a life that might not even require $5 a day. But these are living below the $1 we are talking about. About adoption, they are really very good adopters. But of course, they are used to, they need an innovator to go an extra mile to explain really what are you bringing that is different from what we are already having. Is it more expensive than what we are having already? And if it's really more expensive, what is it going to do compared to what I'm having already? Because if what I'm having is already failing, and I'm not saying they are failing, but there are so many factors, like I said, they could not be failing, but they are failing in a sense of the farmers cannot afford them. They are way expensive that the farmer is buying a very less inputs. that cannot perform to the capacity the farmer needs. So that is about the adoption. There are really so many factors influencing the adaptability potential of these farmers. Besides the culture, and our African culture, farmers like something that is really organic, natural. When you say something, this is natural, this is from your ecosystem, they tend to adopt quicker than when you bring something that they are scared of. A chemical made substance is really scaring most of the farmers. So one thing that pushes their adaptability is the natural solution. If the solution is quite natural, they tend to be familiar with it and they tend to adopt quicker. Then, of course, price, like I said, is one of the major determining factors. Even if a product is working like 400% times, the farmer will not adopt it because, well, I'm saying the farmer is earning less or just $1 a day. How can they afford a solution that is costing $50 to be invested one off? This is way, way too much. So I'm speaking to the listeners and other founders outside there. When you're innovating, when you're providing solutions for people, smallholder farmers or people living that kind of lifestyle, think so much about the price of what you're bringing on market, because these people don't have money for you to for them to afford the expensive solution that you're bringing on market. That is to the side of the innovators. But of course, even if you're making it low cost, please let it work, because but it's not about the price now, but we want a working solution. So if the farmer is able actually to increase their yield from that baseline by about 10%, you've done very good if your product is a low cost solution. So think about the price, think about the culture, the kind of solution you're bringing. Is it natural or it's just coming to worsen the soil? Because yes, the chemicals really work. I want to be honest. The chemicals really work. But in the long run, these farmers that are living a low cost lifestyle will not afford them. What the chemical does, they will perform season one, they will perform season two, but they will fail in season three. What will make them fail in season three? If the farmer cannot afford to buy again those chemicals in season three, there is no much residual effect. And the soil is already used to the chemicals you're applying, so it will need more of the chemicals. I think you get my point. So if the farmer cannot afford to buy those chemicals again, what does it mean? It means the soil is not going to yield anything. And what does the chemical do? The chemical kills the natural system, that is the microbiology. And so the soil is no longer relying on the natural system, but has to continuously rely on the external inputs the farmer has to provide or buying from elsewhere. So what do we do to solve all that, to increase the adaptability and make sure the farmer is, as the end user, is benefiting? We have made the solution is purely microbiology. So we are harnessing the microbial quality of the soil and its biodiversity so that the soil can regenerate on its own. That is one. So we have catered the natural bit of it. Then on the price, we have made it way more affordable. 8 liter of our solution cost 1.5 US dollars. And that liter farmer can dilute in 20 liters of water and apply to the soil. So as low as 1.5 liters, a farmer can have a solution which they can use effectively to have an impact on their farm. So that is on the side of the cost and the price. We're already covering that. Then concerning the adaptability and ensuring that the farmers get long-lasting impact. We don't just sell the product to the farmer. We make sure we give them enough advice, and that is freemium actually. It could be by calls when we visit them during the market launches and all that. We make sure we give them enough advice to ensure the product impact lasts longer.
Wow. Thanks for sharing not only more about the farmers that you're serving and how they're who they are, how they live, but also sharing more about the importance of things such as price, which you've mentioned again, as well as making sure that it's natural and other like characteristics of your solution. That was really amazing to hear more. One thing just to clarify, and I say this because um, different like crops can thrive in different types of soils. Is your solution catered to any particular soil types or any particular crops, or is it more of a versatile solution? If it's more versatile, how do you make sure it's best suited to ensure crop yield in different types of soils?
Yeah, so we uniquely identified microorganisms that can survive in a range of soils.
Hmm.
And being a young company, really, I can't say we have tested in diverse soils, but in the Ugandan setting, we have really tested in all kind of soils. You know, Uganda, maybe to go a little bit technical, is dominated by mostly the feral soils, and then we have some clay soils and some flinty soils. But the most common soils are the feral soils. Those are brown, highly weathered soils, and of course we have the other fertile soils, the histo soils in the mountainous areas. We have tested our product in the range of those soils, and it is performing really well. But I can't, our testing and improvement continues really. So we are trying to introduce in as more diverse microorganisms as possible so that the impact even grows way bigger.
I see. Thanks for sharing. And something else that you mentioned, which I want to go a little bit more deeper into. So, two things. Number one, it sounds like you're a young company that's continuing to innovate, develop. The second thing, which you talked about, was the aspect of how, of course, this has a important socioeconomic, but also agricultural impact on individual farmers. So let's think let's zoom out, think about like in the long term, say in 5 to 10 years, if the current progress that you are working on in Ubuntu Agrobiotics is successful, if things are going as you wish and on the trajectory that you hope, what are the positive impacts in like whether that's social, economic, etc., that you're seeing that show that your solution is working?
Yes, now at Umuntu Current, we have a vision to transform, impact or transform up to 2 million smallholder farmers in Africa in the next 5 years, that is by 2030. And this is actually making up almost 10% of Africa's total smallholder farmer population. So what does it mean to impact the 2 million smallholder farmers? Or let's now zero down 1/2 million smallholder farmers to for the key indicators of performance or of that change or the impact with these smallholder farmers is one, the the 2 million smallholder farmers we are talking about, each of them will have at least increased their crop yield by over 42%, 40%, sorry. So because our solution, the lowest yield it has given so far, the lowest increase in yield is 40%. So we are assuming if we have impacted the 2 million smallholder farmers, at least each of them has been gaining a 40% minimum increase in their crop yield. So that is one impact. But of course, not only increasing on crop yield, because it's one thing to increase on crop yield, but it is another if you're increasing in yield, but at the same time getting economic returns. So what we do, we ensure farmers reduce their production cost by 42%. This is based on use of our solution compared to use of other solutions, or our solution alone compared to combining our solution with other solution. Because we've seen farmers can sometimes can get access to the local solutions like cow dung, chicken waste. But we've seen a combination of our solution with this local solution, increasing yield by 104.8%. And this is based from an external partner who tested our product with his farmers. So these impacts really are really amazing to us. And when we envision the impact on the 2 million farmers, these are the kind of things we see that these farmers are going to be able to achieve during that time. So economically, we are increasing their returns on the investment by cutting their production costs, but also increasing the yields from their production. So when we go social, of course, some farmers don't go commercial. They do production for food security. So if these farmers, the 2 million that we are talking about, are able to have food on their plate, on their table, sustainably, then it will be a plus for Umuntu Agrobiotics. Then if they are able to sell the extra food they are producing, then it will be a plus for Umuntu Agrobiotics. Then that is the social aspect. When we go to the ecological, and that is more of the environmental aspect, we are building the soil's biodiversity like never before. We are rebuilding that system that has been destroyed by the current use of chemicals and also the current climate change crisis. So how will we be measuring this impact? Of course, we rely on a few data that we obtain from a few farmers, but at least we shall be using it to project to the 2 million and potentially estimate how much of the biodiversity we've been able to restore during the 5 years period. So Umuntu, we are just beyond increasing crop yield, but we are building Africa's food future and economic future.
Wow, thanks so much for sharing that big,
Yeah.
bold vision. It's amazing. One thing which you mentioned earlier, which I appreciate, was your advice to founders to consider the price of their solution in the context of who they're serving. And I'm sure you've had a lot of other such lessons that you've learned on your journey, but could you share maybe one other big lesson that you know now that you wish you had known prior to beginning your journey with Ubuntu Agrobiotics?
Oh boy, I'm actually so glad to share this. And this is not a mistake done by only me. Most of the innovators go through this and do this kind of mistake. So, and that is majorly done by the people from the scientific background. The business people normally avoid this, but us from the scientific background normally find ourselves doing such kind of mistake. And this mistake I'm talking about is one. When I just started the company, I thought it's about making a very brilliant solution. I thought it's about my idea. And so I spent most of the time in the laboratory, most of the time in the thinking hubs, trying to make it happen, show that, make sure the thing is out and it's so unique. And I've come to realize it's not actually about that. What I've noted and learned is it's more important to engage with the real users, spend more time engaging with the real users than spending time in laboratories trying to perfect the solution. So, like I said, coming from an agricultural background, I thought I knew the problem. But the problem, yes, I can know the category, but the farmers are facing very diverse problems, ranging from a scale of, some of them are facing the yield decline caused by soil fertility decline. Some of them, yes, that is a problem, but they can afford the solution. When they buy that solution, they are actually buying the wrong solution. So they are investing where they are not supposed to invest. Some of them can afford the solution. The problem is there, but they don't know how to use the solution. And some of them, they know the solution, but they cannot afford the solution. And some of them, they know the solution. The solution is available on market, but They are worried about the solution. They are not familiar with the solution. They are scared which negative impact the solution will bring. Some of them know about the solution. They are not scared about the solution, but they are low at adopting. Some of them are managing it in a wrong way. So it's not about they need a solution. Let me make it, let me take it to them. But what comes with the solution? That is what we actually have learned of late. So now we are dealing more with the farmers, talking more to farmers, understand what really is the problem. Recently, let me give an example just shortly. We had a farmer from Kea, Denmark. He's a coffee farmer. He was applying the fertilizers. He's a rich guy. He can afford the amendments, apply all that, but he wasn't getting yields from the coffee. So we came in. One visit to his farm has changed the whole story. What was the farmer doing wrong? The soils where the farmer was applying the fertilizers are not the right soils. He was applying wrong fertilizers. The soils never needed what the farmer was applying. Imagine you're applying nitrogen where the soils need phosphorus. Imagine you're applying NPK, yet the soil only needed phosphorus. So after that short engagement and advisory service to the farmer, a few months down the road, the farm is yielding like never before.
Wow, appreciate your example and great perspective on really understanding customers' needs and spending time with the customer. And also, again, thanks for sharing your more in-depth perspective on that. How can people find you and how can people support your work?
Yeah, we're actually available on our socials. Ubuntu Agrobiotics LinkedIn, ubuntuagrobiotics.com. That is our website. But yeah, you can also reach us through those two major platforms, the LinkedIn and the website. We are open to partnerships. We are open to customer introduction. And so, yeah, help us grow. Help us reach as many smallholders farmers as possible. Be a part of this vision.
Okay. And for our audience, you'll see some of that information in our show notes. Now it's time for our signature question. Can you please fill in the blank? I amplify
smallholder farmers.
Well said. Appreciate the brevity and also really appreciate that you took the time to share your journey with us and your insights on Ubuntu Agrobiotics, Paul. It was so cool to hear the innovative nature of what you're doing and also all the positive impacts that that's enabling. I also just want to pause and reflect on this conversation and I guess reflect on our interaction. So we've interacted a number of different times. We've had a number of meetings, asynchronous interactions, and also from today's conversation, I really appreciate the presence, the kindness that you have towards farmers, which you've talked about. Also, I really appreciate your thinking and the ability to put into practice regenerative practices in agriculture. I think that's so important. And also the fact that you were so customer centered in many different ways, not just, for example, increasing crop yields, but also ensuring that there is appropriate cost management. Also really ensuring that this is well suited to Ugandan farmers and also really keeping in mind and making sure that this is not only, of course, something that's scientifically excellent in agriculture, but also very well suited to African founders, smallholder farmers, African farmers. And in that way, really having that intentionality around the impact you're making and the work you're doing. So thank you so much, Paul, for sharing that and for being a inspiration and someone who is a fantastic farmer and a fantastic founder for underrepresented individuals around the world.
Thank you so much, Narayan, for the platform. And yes.
Again, thanks so much for your time, Paul. We'll be in touch. But for now, I wish you have a wonderful rest of your day and goodbye for now.
All right, bye.
To our listeners, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Founders Amplified. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am. If you'd like to learn more about our guest and support them, check out the show notes for their details. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a rating, share it with someone you know, and follow us for more inspiring episodes like this one. If you're a founder who is driving innovation and impact in any industry or sector anywhere in the world and would like to be a guest, we'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes for more information. And finally, remember that you, yes, you, have the power to amplify the voices around you. Whether you're a colleague, family member, friend, funder, mentor, or just another fellow human, your support matters. So I invite you to celebrate and uplift the underrepresented innovators in your life who are driving innovation and impact. Let's create a better future for everyone, together. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep amplifying.